It's time for global news, and we head straight to Spacex. It's the biggest IPO in the world that this time made the owner the richest, the first trillionaire in dollars. Well, Spacex has jumped for a third straight day, overtaking Amazon.com in value to become the fifth largest stock in the world. Shares closed at 4.8% higher, pushing its market capitalization to $2.65 trillion. That's roughly $8 billion higher than Amazon's. At the stock's intra-high, the market value of Elon Musk's rocket and AI company topped Microsoft Corporation to briefly become the world's fourth largest stock. Elon Musk, the first trillionaire in the world. I'd like to make a name like that very soon, yeah? Well, away from that, Cathy Wood's ARK Invest has disclosed that it trades showing notable sales of shares in Advanced Micro Devices and Strata Critical Medical. The investment firm sold a combined 23,844 shares of AMD through its ARKF and ARKX exchange-traded funds, with the transaction valued at approximately $13.05 million. The move follows a similar sell-off the previous day, signaling ARK's continued reduction of its stake in the chip maker. ARK also divested 395,646 shares of Strata Critical Medical, spread across its ARKQ and ARKX funds. The sale was valued at about $2.33 million, extending the firm's recent trimming of its position in the medical technology company. And in the United Kingdom, inflation unexpectedly held steady in May, suggesting price pressures were weaker than feared, even before a U.S. deal to end the Iran war sent energy costs tumbling. Consumer prices rose 2.8% compared to a year earlier, unchanged from April. This is according to the Office for National Statistics. It's below economists' expectations for inflation to hit 3%, but the drop is attributed to a change in the UK's regulated energy price cap that was expected to be short-lived. The price cap is due to rise by 13% later this summer, when energy costs will hit a 2-year high. Backtrack a bit and see what's happening in the United States. Our Washington correspondent Mario Bird gives us an overview of trading in yesterday's markets.
The U.S. stock market was mixed on Tuesday, as the Dow Jones was up at 0.6%, continuing on from a Monday rally, and the S&P 500, though, dropped 0.6%, and the heavy tech Nasdaq also dropped at 1.1%, as many investors are watching the U.S.-Iran agreement and waiting to see if this peace deal will come to fruition on Friday, and if this means the Strait of Hormuz will be open by Friday, as this agreement has many wondering how this will have an impact on the U.S. economy. Investors are also very hopeful and wondering how the first meeting with the new Federal Reserve Chairman, Kevin Warsh, will turn out, as the meeting opened on Tuesday and will close on Wednesday, with not much hope that there will be interest rate drops, but there is some concern and questions around the U.S. inflation and whether or not that will be addressed at Wednesday's meeting.
Yes, of course, we're expecting the decision, the first one, I believe, under Mr. Walsh, coming from the United States. And we saw inflation earlier higher for the third straight month from the United States. So it doesn't look like there'll be a lot of movement, but who knows? We'll watch and see. While shares of China's Sensonic Electronics Technology surged in their Hong Kong trading debut today, reflecting strong investor appetite for semiconductor and technology listings in the city's resurgent IPO markets. The wireless sensor chipmaker's stock jumped over 120% to 41 Hong Kong dollar. That's above its initial public offering price of 18.36 Hong Kong dollar. Investors' interest has been fueled by growing enthusiasm for artificial intelligence and semiconductor-related companies. And this is helping Hong Kong reclaim its position as one of the world's busiest venues for new listings, despite ongoing geopolitical uncertainties. Well, IPOs ruling the world now. Thank God Nigeria also has its own big IPO expected in September. Of course, that's Dangote Refinery. Now, to Singapore, where the non-oil domestic exports climbed 38.4% in May compared to the same month last year. This is according to government data that was released earlier today. The figure was higher than expectations of 30 and was the biggest rise in the export readings over the past 20 years. Strong demand related to artificial intelligence drove exports of integrated circuit, disk, media products, and personal computers.